would like to call someone that really needs no introduction. He is our former Attorney General. He is someone who has always been very receptive and has always been there for Aafia's case and has always offered everything and all his support. It's someone that we all know, we all respect, and someone who's always standing there for justice. Before I invite him over, I see sitting here the president of HAWA organization, Mrs. Farooq. Welcome. And there are lots of people. I should stop looking at the audience and say I want to welcome each and everyone. But Mrs. Farooq has been very, very active in our campaign. And I remember one Foundation decided to go to Itwar Bazaar and get Aafia's postcard signed, and she went to every person in the whole Itwar Bazaar getting them to sign, and that was amazing. Again, back to our very respected speaker that we have. He came, he drove all the way from Sucker, he was in Sucker, and the flight got cancelled. And he drove all the way, he's coming straight from there, and we're really honored. And I really cannot thank him enough for sparing this time for this program and gracing our occasion. Obviously, he really does not need any introduction. Anwar Mansoor. He is also the president of the Sindh High Court Bar Association, and with that I also forgot to mention he has invited Honorable Ramzikar to the bar tomorrow.
Three days back, Maria came across to my office.
Excuse me, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Said you have to come today and say a few words. He showed me the paper of the seminar and said your name is already there on the list and you can't miss it. I had no choice. I told her that I was in Sucker and I needed to be in Sucker. It's about 7 hours drive from here, by the way. I drove this morning. I had to read a paper at a conference there. Came back. I jotted down a few words, a few pointers whilst I was coming in the car. So I'm not prepared anything outstanding. Anyways, Mr. Ramzikar, nice of you to be here. Mr. Justice Aafia Siddiqui, he's always been with me everywhere where I bump into him everywhere, or he bumps into me everywhere, I think. Justice Aafia Siddiqui is probably known for his acumen in law and otherwise. As a human being, a most wonderful person. Mr. Iqbal Haider, Mr. Rashid Rizvi, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu Alaikum. This much facts, I think most of us know what the facts are. I don't need to repeat them. Time is also very short. But the judgment of Aafia probably shocked not only this country, but the entire legal fraternity everywhere and anywhere. This judgment is nothing but a cruel judgment, a brutal judgment, and I use these words for specific reasons. When I say I use these words for very specific reasons, I refer to the 8th Amendment of the United States Constitution. Mr. Debradley Clark must be aware, and everyone here would be aware that punishments which are cruel and which are unusual ought not to be given. This is what the American Constitution says. Then when I, on the same hand, look into various other facts, I will not be able to relate numerous other facts, but the very famous fact that I would need to relate is the fact of Raymond Davis, a murderer, a person who admittedly shot and killed innocent citizens of Pakistan. When he was being prosecuted, the American government came forth, and that intense pressure to take away their citizen. And mind you, Raymond Davis was not a diplomat. He could not have immunity as a diplomat. And despite all this, he was taken away. What was it that Aafia did? What is it that caused the American government to have abducted her from Karachi, took her all the way to Balram? Abduction in Karachi is a penal offence. Pakistan's laws are applicable, and the person who abducted her stays on a confidential list, not known. To admit the fact that he did take Aafia away, and despite all this, the government, the country, whom we from our childhood always read about as a country where rule of law is prevalent. When we talk of rule of law, we do not take into account only the fact that it is individuals who are required to abide by the rule of law. It is the state also who is required to abide by that rule. And when we talk of due process, we also talk of the fact that due process is provided for in the Constitution also. Our Constitution, Article 4, was interpreted to provide for the due process and was equated with the 14th Amendment of the American Constitution. In fact, our Constitution was recently amended and a new article introduced regarding fair trial, Article 10A, as being a fundamental right of every citizen where the state chooses to act unlawfully. Right of fair trial in the United States also has been interpreted in numerous judgments. And 14th Amendment does give that right to fair trial. I recall, probably I may not be up to date on the American judgments, as most of them we in fact are not very up to date on the American. We are very up to date on the British judgments, but not on the American judgments. But I remember having read the Hampton Mausum case. This is 1976, where the government pleaded that because of exigency, discrimination could be taken up on the person who was a foreigner, could be proceeded with without due process. The court struck it down. No. Due process is for all, and therefore a complete judicial pronouncement was available. What happened in the Aafia's case? And I dread that I hope we in Pakistan do not go into that dreadful manner in which this case was proceeded with. No witnesses, contradictions in evidence, and despite all, without due process. And that is what due process is all about. She is convicted for 80 years. An unusual punishment, contrary to the American Constitution. And despite all this, the American government chooses not to allow her to come back to Pakistan, to meet with her family. And I was told the other day, the brother of Dr. Aafia was there with an order of the court to meet with her, and the jail authorities refused, saying that the order does not require the jail authorities to allow her to meet. And this is what law is all about? From a country where we thought the rule of law was forever. The time is short. I have numerous other citations I recalled during the course when I was coming across. I just recalled what cases possibly could be referred. The Miranda's versus Arizona's case, I recall. Similar issues were taken up and things were decided. When I look into this issue, a person, Dr. Aafia, a lady, a person involved in education, a person who has given her life throughout for education, a person kidnapped or abducted, whatever we call it, with her children. Those 3 children, why they were taken out, why they were taken away, one still does not know. Fortunately, 2 are back, one is missing. A person who was tortured, she may have said things which may have weighed upon the jury. During her confinement, before persons who were biased, before persons who were in control of Dr. Aafia, and if that evidence, which is according to someone's self-incriminatory? Can such an evidence be taken up, and on the basis of that self-incriminatory evidence can someone be convicted? No. The due process clearly requires that if there is evidence that is required to be taken up, if there is something that has been said by a person in custody, it has to be done in a manner that law provides, not before. A person who are captors. Now, when we talk of captors, we talk of persons who have taken the lady by force. Naturally, if a lady has been taken away by force, removed for her from her parent country into another country, the question again arises, was there jurisdiction of that court which could have been invoked? When America talks of hot pursuit, they talk of hot pursuit in relation to any person who has harmed America. The lady, the allegation against her is that she tried to snatch during captivity weapons of the American force and a trained force. That is the allegation. What is the allegation as to why hot pursuit was against her and she was picked up on fire? There is none. There is nothing said. There is nothing on record to show why she was taken away from here. My time seems to be over. I have numerous other issues that I could speak on. Probably I could, if I were to, I could take the whole day on this issue. But I think one thing very crucial is that I want to bring forward. When we talk of jurisdiction, we talk of a fact that an event has occurred at a certain place. Nothing has been shown that that event has occurred in the United States. Nothing has been shown that that event, whatever it was, happened in a place where she was tried. If something happened in Pakistan, then the courts in Pakistan had all authority to proceed against her, or it was upon the American government who has sought extradition in accordance with law. That is what the international law requires. I again thank you for having been with me with some patience, and thank you very much.